Everyone knows that a woman should take special care of her body while pregnant, a good diet, proper rest, medical checkups. But can a woman drink alcohol while pregnant and still deliver a healthy baby? It's a controversy that's been reignited recently with the publication of a book entitled To Your Health that says wine in moderation may be fine for pregnant women and may even be beneficial. One of the authors of the book, Dr. David N. Witten, is here with that side of the story. And in our Washington bureau is Patty Munter, Executive Director of the National Organization on Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, who's concerned this will prompt pregnant women to take unnecessary risks. Good morning to both of you.
Hi.
Dr. Witten, let me start with you. How much alcohol are we talking about? How often? And briefly, why is it beneficial?
Okay, well, in the first place, the amazing thing is that this book is not about drinking wine during pregnancy. It just so happens that that's one of dozens of complicated issues that we address in a book that's a complete look at, balanced look at the health benefits and risks of wine drinking, as well as in a comparative setting with the kinds of risks and rewards, physical and medical rewards, that accompany other common, normal human activities.
But
what we're
certainly the
about,
chapter on wine drinking in pregnant
right.
women is the most controversial.
Well, that chapter has certainly generated a lot of comment. That really is, it's true that that's a controversial chapter, but it's surprising that it is, because the fact is that we're really not the first nor the only competent doctors or scientists to make these comments. And what we're talking about is just
a minute,
one.
Patty.
Okay.
We're just talking about one glass of wine a day, whether a woman is pregnant or not pregnant. If she's drinking more than that, she's drinking too much.
And why is it possibly beneficial?
Well, we know, for example, that daily wine consumption in that level, or less actually, will convey an enormous benefit for heart disease, and it also reduces the incidence of the most common kind of stroke. It's a major predictor for healthy aging. There are a variety of other comments.
What about for the fetus?
Well, for the fetus, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any harm. But the key thing is that what's healthy for the woman when she's not pregnant, in most cases, is also healthy for the woman when she's pregnant.
Patty Munter, I know you're anxious to get a word in here. Tell me why you have a problem with the doctor's recommendations in this book.
Oh, great. Thanks. I have a problem with this book because it's just plain dangerous. First of all, I just need to go back for a second, because these two doctors are the only two doctors in the whole world that have come up with these findings, and this book is just irresponsible. This book not only says that it may be okay for a woman to drink while she's pregnant, but it actually says it may be beneficial, and that is just bad science. When a pregnant woman drinks alcohol, she's putting her child at risk for fetal alcohol syndrome, which is the leading known cause of mental retardation, and it's completely irreversible. Now, the good news is it's 100% preventable, and if you don't drink alcohol while you're pregnant, your child cannot have fetal alcohol syndrome. But I just need to say the Surgeons General of the United States, the CDC, every leading medical researcher in this country that's looked at this has completely refuted the findings of this book. These doctors are asking American women to play Russian roulette with the health of their unborn children, and it's just completely beyond me why they would ask women to take this kind of risk.
Dr. Witten, you've admitted, I know, that there have been a number of studies, and this is an extremely complex area of medical research. Since there hasn't been, to my understanding from what I've read, one definitive study sort of stating irreversibly what the situation is for women in alcohol, why not err on the side of caution and just abstain altogether?
Well, in the first place, there is an enormous body of literature, and for Ms. Munter to say that we're the only doctors to come up with these findings just illustrates that she's not reading the literature. In fact, an article in 1991 published in the British Journal of Addiction was entitled "Abstention for Fetal Health: the fiction that even light drinking is harmful."
But in your book, you say that infants suffering from fetal alcohol syndrome usually have alcoholic mothers, yet you admit there have been studies that show a tendency for slightly reduced birth weights, slightly reduced motor skills at 12 months, and slightly reduced IQ at age 7 when women drink as few as 2 drinks a day.
Yeah, the preponderance of the evidence is that so long as a woman is not drinking more than about 2 drinks a day, there's no harm done. We recommend light, regular wine consumption, which is 1 drink a day. And there really are the preponderance of the studies show absolutely no effect at that level on fetal health. So we feel that it's an important health benefit, and it has very low risk for the mother and for the infant. The key thing is that the babies that are fetal alcohol babies come from the heavily drinking, abusive mothers who drink throughout pregnancy, and we need to do something to lift those women from the degradation and despair that they face that leads them to find themselves mired in alcohol addiction and substance abuse.
Katie, I just need to jump in here because, I always thought the first rule of medicine was do no harm. And I just, again, can't understand why these doctors are asking American women to play Russian roulette. There are so many things that we can't prevent and that we can't do anything about. And this is not one of them. If you don't drink while you're pregnant, you are not putting your child at risk for being born with permanent life-threatening disabilities. And it just makes no sense to me why these doctors are asking us to believe Robert Mondavi, who's endorsed this book, over the Surgeons General of the United States and every other credible researcher in the world. It just makes absolutely no sense to me, and I find it offensive. I get hundreds and hundreds of letters and phone calls every week from women whose physicians told them to have a few drinks if they needed to relax, and now they have children with permanent disabilities who have a whole host of physical, very, very serious physical and emotional problems, and it just makes no sense to me.
All right, Patty Munter and Dr. David Witten, unfortunately we're out of time. Interesting subject. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We're back in a moment with more on Today, right after these messages.